Independent Sumerian City-States. You are there. The year is 1933, and you're hard at work on an archaeological dig in Iraq. Uncovering the remains of the ancient Sumerian city of Ur is exciting work. So far, you and your team have found what seem to be royal tombs. You have identified beautiful headdresses of gold and jewels, golden cups, and even bones of people who once lived there. You wonder what the people's lives were like, what they thought about, how they dressed, and what they ate. You know that the artifacts you are finding may help answer these questions. The emergence of cities. In southern Mesopotamia, Sumerian cities such as Ur, Kish, Uruk, and Eridu proved to be very successful. Economic surpluses allowed these and other cities to emerge as centers of culture and power. By 3000 BC, about 12 cities in Sumer had developed into the world's first city-states. In ancient times, a city-state included a walled city and the land around it, such as farmland. Each also had its own government. Inside clearly marked borders, most early city-states covered several square miles and had populations of about 5,000 people. Over time, some city-states grew to be more than 1,500 square miles, with populations of as many as 60,000 people. Although each Sumerian city-state was independent, the people shared a common culture. They followed similar religious practices, spoke the Sumerian language, and developed a writing system. They also created buildings, art, and crafts that were unique to Sumerian society. The Sumerians and earlier people of the region made achievements in technology as well. Many advances, such as irrigation, helped them produce economic surpluses. All this led to the development of an early civilization in Sumer. Over time, this civilization would spread throughout Mesopotamia. Government and religion. The first political or government structure of each city-state was made up of a small group of leaders and a chief leader chosen by the group. Together, they made laws, decided what work had to be done, and dealt with disputes over land or water rights. While some disputes were settled peacefully, others led to war. When faced with war, the different leaders who ruled a city-state could not always agree about what to do. It became clear that a single leader was needed. This led the Sumerians to form the world's first monarchy, or governing system ruled by a king or queen. In Sumerian city-states, the rulers were always kings. When a king died, his son became the new king. This change made Sumerian monarchies more stable than previous kinds of government. From a walled palace, the king governed firmly. He had complete authority or power over religion, the economy, and everyday life. The king appointed officials to carry out his orders, often concerning economic surpluses and building projects. Below the king, priests were the most important people in society. Sumerians practiced polytheism, the belief in many gods. They believed that each natural event had its own god and that one god protected each different city-state. A temple was built in the center of the city-state to worship that god. At temples, the priests held ceremonies to please the gods, especially those connected to agriculture. This religious structure was central to life. A commercial society. The cities of Sumer buzzed with activity. Their economic structures were based on economic surpluses. The ability to create surpluses led to new kinds of jobs, to the production of new goods, and to trade. Surpluses of crops enabled some Sumerians to perform work other than farming. In each city, some people became craft workers, metal workers, and builders. Finding raw materials for these workers was not always easy. Neither metals nor trees could be found in Sumer. To get raw materials, the city-states exported agricultural surpluses such as grains and dates. In exchange, Sumerians imported metals, wood, and other resources. Sumerians depended on long-distance trade. Groups of traders traveled together on long journeys. These caravans carried trade goods by donkeys throughout the Fertile Crescent and beyond. Later, traders used sailboats to carry goods on waterways to distant places. By 2300 BC, Sumerian trade extended from Egypt and the eastern Mediterranean to perhaps as far as the Indus Valley in what is now Pakistan. The Sumerians needed a way to keep track of what they traded. They began to use clay tokens to record trade. Later, they recorded such information on clay tablets. Discoveries at Ur. Long ago, the city of Ur lay close to the Euphrates River, but the river has changed its course many times through the years. Today, the land where the city once stood is now 12 miles from Euphrates, and its once fertile fields are part of a desert. Even so, the ruins of Ur offer clues to life in the area from about 5000 BC to 2000 BC. Beginning in the 1920s, a British archaeologist named Leonard Woolley led an excavation at Ur. He and his team uncovered many different layers in the ruins. Each layer held artifacts from a different period of Ur's history. In the deepest layer, archaeologists found the remains of an Ubaid village. Above that layer was 8 feet of mud, evidence that a flood destroyed Ur soon after it was built. After the flood, the Sumerians rebuilt Ur. In the ruins of the rebuilt city, Woolley and his team found the royal cemetery of Ur, which held tombs from 2500 BC. The tombs at Ur reveal a highly developed society. Artifacts from the tombs show the skill of Sumerian craft workers and the existence of long-distance trade. Tombs of royalty and high priests contain valuable items made of precious metals and stones. Tombs of other Sumerians often held such items as jewelry and weapons. Discoveries at Ur included a large temple that was dedicated to the Sumerian moon god Nana. The temple's architecture or building style followed that of temple ruins found at the sites of other city-states. The rest of the city consisted of small mud brick houses built along narrow alleys. The highest layer of ruins dates from about 2000 BC. At that time, the Euphrates changed course and Ur was abandoned.